up? BigHerc916, positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know how we do it over here. I was having a discussion with my cousin today, and I was talking about having a passion and doing things that bring you happiness. And if you don't have nothing in the world that makes you happy, nothing that you enjoy doing just for the simple fact it gives you a sense of self, man, you need to do some serious soul searching. Because if everything you do is based on money, you're going to have an empty life, man. You're not going to have no fulfillment. You're going to be chasing money. You might make a lot of it, but you'll be chasing it and you'll never be able to feel your heart, man. You'll never be able to feel it. I mean, whether it's hot chicks, nice cars, beautiful vacations, you're going to always be feeling like you can't quench your desire. And I say that because there's things I do that I use to occupy my time that are what I consider like decompression things, or things that kind of give me a sense of just accomplishment, whether it's whether it's painting, um, whether it's going to car shows, talking to people, whether it's just being social in a positive way. But you have to find something that fills that void, something outside of just, getting high, having sex, drinking. It's got to be something else that creates value within you that makes you happy. And, we're naturally social creatures. So one of the biggest things I would say is getting out, avoiding isolation, interacting with people, talking with people about their life, their interests. So it also gives you a purpose for your life, like as far as the reflection point. I mean, you don't have to base your life off of somebody else's life, but when you talk to other people, it kind of makes you think about the things you have accomplished and the things you have done, and what your self-worth is. And it also builds a connection, because we're all connected in one way or the other. And that's why communities are so important, families are so important, just being able to have that ability to share. But a lot of people out here today, I know they feel isolated. um, there are people who have friends they've never met, people they've met in these chat rooms or these apps, and they think that they have this connection, but they've never actually interacted with them. And that's one of the things I think that's really hurt a lot of the relationships, is that people have these pretend relationships that aren't real. And so when something happens that is in the real world, they don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to handle it. And they turn to these other vices to kind of console them or make them feel better about who they are. But if you had more of a relationship with somebody that's physical, whether it's, doing something together, um, you know, guys night out, girls night out, whatever the case may be, uh, you know, gardening, um, something that is interactive with, you know, um, nature, the public, other people. It gives you, I feel, a better sense of self. When I was when I was locked up, I never thought about suicide. I never thought about taking my own life. I felt very, very depressed, at times, just because I know I couldn't go home, and I had to live in an environment with other people that were also in situations, um, as far as they couldn't go home, and they were doing time. Some of them doing more time than I was doing. But it was a low point, and I'm still dealing with trauma from that. I feel sometimes when I'm on the streets and I'm just trying to connect with other people, but my best day in there isn't comparable to my worst day on the street. And so sometimes, besides just trying to chase something or, compare my life to somebody else's life on social media, I just back away, man, and just focus on doing something that puts a smile on my face. That could be drawing, that could be having a conversation with my wife, that could be playing with my little puppies. It could be messing with my cars. It doesn't have to, be anything that requires um, something that I'm proving myself to anybody else or something material. It could just be simple things. Just being able to walk freely and not have somebody follow me on other side of a fence with razor wire and a gun, or look up and see, guard towers. That's a great feeling. And you just got to be thankful, man. You got to be thankful, but also pull yourself out of isolation and build you a friend circle, but something that's constructive. It's some friends, yeah, they may appear to be friends, but if they're pulling you down a dark hole that is not healthy, and it takes away from you finding yourself or elevating yourself, you got to back away from them, man. Through conversation, through behavior. It's easy to get caught up because you feel like all these people are cool, but is the trade-off really worth it for you to continue to socialize with these people that aren't really beneficial to you as a person growing spiritually? And that's what you got to look at, man. But isolation is one of the biggest things. Um, Self-guilt, and we can't we can't we can't change what we did yesterday, but we can definitely look forward to the future. There's times I look back and like, man, if I would have done this or done that, or made this choice instead of that choice, and it's like, man, but those are moments that have passed. You got to think, if you're healthy, what you got going on now, think about the future. Think about all those opportunities that still haven't presented themselves, that's there and available, things that are to come, and it will make you feel better about the future. The past is the past. You learn from the past, but you can't dwell and let it continue to beat you up. And I know it beats up a lot of us, man. A lot of us beat ourselves up over our past, man. The mistakes we made, maybe the things we did that we wish we wouldn't have done, or just relationships we messed up, or just a lot of different things, man. Choices we made. But whatever you're doing now, and if you're able to recognize the mistakes you made in the past, you're supposed to learn from that stuff, and you're supposed to grow, man. And there's a purpose for you still being here, because if it wasn't meant for you to be here, you wouldn't exist. You would have been a statistic by now. Something would have happened, and it would have, it would have been your time to leave the earth. But if you can listen to this, you still have value while you're here. You got to figure out, what is my purpose, and to be happy is one of them. To create meaning, to show others what a human being is capable of, and to maybe guide others on this journey. Maybe there's somebody you're meant to guide or bring into the world. There's so many different things. So don't let the depression get you. Don't let the isolation get you. Don't let unhappiness stop you from your mission in life. But find purpose, man, and find it outside of things that are based on either materialism or drugs or any of those vices that can basically destroy your life. Find it in something that you know especially your creativity, you know, your your childlike um your childlike excitement, your fun emotions, you know, things that put a smile on your face, man. And I'm telling you, you'll feel like life will be more rewarding because it's not all about materialism. You can't focus everything, otherwise you'll sell your soul, man, and you'll do so many things that you know you. Oh man, I got this bag, and then you'll get into the later years and be like, man, why'd I do that? You know what? Why'd I? I regret having done that and do this, and you got to live with yourself, and then that might turn you into a drug addict or alcoholic. So find your happiness, man. And I know a lot of you guys are dealing with isolation, lack of friends, feeling like you're all alone. You're not all alone. You just got to get out the house. You got to get out here and socialize. You got to interact, man, because everything on the computer is not real. These AI worlds, that shit is not real. What's real is that there are people looking for the same thing you're looking for. There's people looking to make friends, to have conversations, to hang out together. You got to get out there and find them, man. BigHerc916 and I would like to introduce you to Little Herc's Big Lessons. My wife and I decided to come out with a children's book series that encourages young children to be strong, to make good choices, and also teach valuable lessons. Lesson 2, Speak with Strength. At school, Little Herc's classmate Maria looked upset. The bigger kids were teasing her about her artwork. Hey, Little Herc said, stepping forward. Maria's art is awesome. Let's show some respect. The bigger kids shuffled their feet and walked away. Maria smiled at Little Herc. Thanks, Herc. You're always brave enough to stand up for what's right. Little Herc felt proud. Speaking up is what strong people do. You can pick up the book, link in the description.
I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh,
Officially, I only got one real spanking my entire life. My mom did the best a 14-year-old could do, raising me with love and instilling values that will last a lifetime. I was a straight A student and lived to make her happy. So how did I go astray? A horrible stepdad that stole my self-worth and invoked fear turned me into a person that I struggled to overcome. From skateboarding to selling drugs, gang banging in juvenile hall, I got caught the same way many young promising men get caught up. I struggled to find my identity, getting mixed up in shootouts, crime, and the adult entertainment industry. This roller coaster continued as I juggled college, hustling, and Hollywood, eventually catching a federal bank robbery case. I found redemption in prison while serving a 120-month federal sentence and came out a man on a mission. I became a social media influencer with over 500 million views on YouTube and a life coach mentoring people all over the world. This is my journey against all odds.